Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leonie, aka Stitching Noni, and this is my FlossTube channel which documents my cross stitch journey. This is a channel all about cross stitch. Occasionally you might hear me talk about a book or two that I've read. Occasionally there might be a life story, but for the most part it's a channel about cross stitch. Today is Wednesday the 15th of April 2020 and it's video number 38. My last recording was 2 weeks ago on the 1st of April and I didn't do a prank after all. I am back within 2 weeks. I said I was going to try and come back in 2 weeks and I've done it. Oh, why is it when I start recording something goes wrong? I've tried this intro 5 times now. I've had dog barking, I've had hubby come home, now I've got sirens in the background. So hopefully you won't hear the sirens in the background, they just seem to be far off. And the light keeps changing. I've actually pulled the blind down because I was getting glare from outside the windows. So we're going to have fluctuating light because we have clouds today, a bit of rain potential happening, who knows. It's one of those days. It's a Wednesday. I've also on a time limit because at 12:30 I've got to go and do a call with the other EAs at work. Yeah, it's been one of those mornings. But anyway, we're here. I will get through what I can get through in this sort of 20 minutes or so, and then I can always come back and do a bit more after I've done the call with the girls. Okay, life update. So in Perth in WA, we are still in sort of our shutdown mode where we social distancing, social isolating, pubs, everything is still shut, no change there. We're lucky that we appear to be flattening the curve, but we're still pretty much only essential going out and about and going to the shop or whatever. So I'm still working from home. I'm loving it. It's awesome. But yeah, no change there. No change potentially in the near future either. So I'm not going to go on too much about COVID-19 and anything else. Unless it changes, I think it's just going to be life as it is. So yeah. So what do we have to talk about today? Oh, before I do start, no, I'll mention it at the end, so it's all good. So, since my last video, I have worked on 6 whips and I even managed to have a finish. So we'll start with the finish. I think you'll know what the finish was because it was almost finished when I showed it to you on my last video. And that was this little free kit. Now I am going to have a bit of glare because of this window situation, but hopefully we'll be okay. This was a free gift out of the Cross Stitcher magazine from June 2009. Now the designer of this is Angela Poole, and it was, yeah, it just came as a standard kit. Yeah, nothing fancy at all. And I have now finished it. So here we are, all done. I won't do a before pitch because I think I only had like 120 something stitches to do after actually might have been a little bit more because I had 2 days of stitching on it, but we ended up 167, there you go, I did make a note, 167 stitches was all I did. Now I did stuff up as I mentioned and I've added a little slightly bit longer there, but it's all good. Heaps of French knots, back stitching and 1 thread cross stitch and 2 thread cross stitch, and there we go, all done. So I finished that on the 2nd of April. I was using that as my daily 30 prompts for the daily 30 group. So essentially I was generally just stitching on it for half an hour or so every day, but on the 2nd I focused on it to get it finished. In total, for this particular design in 2020, I did 1,677 stitches in it. And it was actually originally, I started it on the 2nd of January 2016 and I didn't touch it pretty much after I started it until I picked it up earlier this year to start working on it and making it a focus piece till I finished it. Whip number 2. So whip number 2 is another one I'm using as my focus for a daily 30. Again, it is a free gift from it is from the Cross Stitcher magazine, and this comes from the May 2008 issue 199. It is another, it's not a card or anything, it's just a design, which obviously in this case they framed it. I don't know what I'll do with mine. I might actually turn it into a little pillow, but we'll see what happens. So this is Spring Tulips. I've actually used it for a couple of different challenges. So I picked it up again on the 4th of April and I'll put a before pic as to what it looked like when I picked it up on the 4th of April. I have been working on it from the 4th through to yesterday, and I'll work on it again today. And in fact, I've only missed 2 days in that period of time, but I've done 428 stitches in April, and this is what it's looking like now. So essentially I needed some specialty stitches for my semi-sane stitch or no deal stitch thing, whatever it's called. So I said back stitching was a specialty stitch. They allowed that, so that's fine. So I ended up doing the 50 of those just so that I could knock it on the head and get some back stitching done. So what I've been trying to do is basically back stitch those tulips as I go. And I was working on this tulip here last night, which is the last tulip in the design. So then I'll come back onto here, and hopefully that will be a finish in no time. So as I mentioned, 428 stitches so far in April, and I've done 1262 stitches on this particular one for 2020 so far. It will stay out now as a daily 30 prompt until I've finished it, but I've also been using it for the Enchanted Stitching Parks one. I've used it for Magic Kingdom and finished level 1 off on Magic Kingdom, and I'm using it now for level 2. I only need 95 stitches for level 2, so I'm using it for that, because with that particular park stitching, you have to choose a whip and stick with that whip for the step. So there's a couple of steps there, like this one, the first step I did, you had to do I think 1200 stitches or something for that step, but you can't change whip unless you finish the whip. But the idea is that you don't, that you use a whip that you will get all those stitches in, so you're not changing whips even if you finish it. The idea was to actually find a whip that you've got enough stitches in. So I've been using it for that. I also used it for my Magical Stitches Park stitching for Dino Land or Dino Land, Dinosaur Land, whatever, and I've finished 1009 stitches, so I needed 1000 stitches for that one. And now I'm using it for a Magical Stitches monthly task where I needed to have a whip with flowers, and I need 300 stitches for that, so I'm almost worked through that one as well. Okay, so that's that one. So what did I have I've told you where it came from, and it's actually the designer for that one was Diane Machen. Okay, the next one we had, so that was whip number 2. So as I mentioned, I'm still bringing that out. That stays out now. I'm going to get that finished this month, so that'll be a finish for another one finish for April. Kitty litter came out. Now, I mentioned to you in my last video I wanted to bring kitty litter out because I needed a male designer for Magical Stitches. So kitty litter is a dimensions kit. There we go, sort of. It's too hard to take it out of this without everything coming out. What I might do, how about this? Rather than try and do the glare on kitty litter, I will put a picture of the cover pic in here. So kitty litter, I bought that out because that was the only one I could think of that I had in my Total Whips without making a start on a male designer. And the design is based on a painting from a guy by the name of Brolt Brad. He's a Norwegian artist. It worked, I'm hoping. I don't think they've marked them yet, but keep your fingers crossed it worked. So the next step, I used, since I had it out, I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to make a goal of 500 stitches for this because I needed 500 stitches for that particular task from memory, I think. Was that task? Maybe not. Yes, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I did a goal of 500 stitches. I've so far done 650 stitches, and I've worked on it from the 2nd to the 6th of April. Before pick of this. Now, this doesn't come out as often as it should because I hate the 18 count aider that I'm working on when I'm trying to pull 5 threads through it. Because all the background is half stitches in 5 threads. So you would have seen where I was at, and you will see where I'm at now. So I'm actually quite pleased. I've done, I thought, some quite good work on this, so I'm looking at being very happy I think, by the time I put this away. So I have finished the butterfly. So I focused on finishing the butterfly, and I've come back in here and I am filling in this. So my idea is to keep working down here. This is the end of the page. So this is the page break. So I will now just work my way down and fill that in. And I'll come across also and work into, because there's baskets starting to appear in here. So while I've had this out, I thought, well, if I'm going to have it out for one challenge, let's see what I can work in and double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip. So I used it for 24 hours of cross stitch for the acrostic, and I used it for S because there's sleeping kitties in the design. I, as I mentioned, used it for week 1 for magical stitches. I'm using it currently for the monthly magical stitches one because it's a, I had to have it for a whip you have exiled. Well, I exiled this because I hate trying to stitch this. And I've also used it for Enchanted stitching the cars week 1. You had to have a prompt, a whip that you quit or you want to quit. Fits in perfectly for that. I'm now using for 24 hours of cross stitch the acrostic W for wool, because obviously there's wool in the basket. And I'm also stupidly decided to use this for one of the park openings in Magical Stitches where I need 1,000 stitches. And I'm doing it for the Tree of Life. So I thought, well, I've bought it out. I'm going to keep it out for the month and try and work on it. If I can get 1,000 stitches on this, I will be really happy. And that's 1,000 stitches more than what, well, it'll end up being probably about 1,500 stitches by the time I get there. But it'll be more than what I thought I would get on this for a while. So I'm hopeful that we're doing okay on that one. Excuse me while I look at my notes. Okay, now, so I had, as I mentioned, I did have plans to bring out Kitty Litter, Goat Load, and Forever and Ever, and Father Frost. So I pulled all of those out and managed to work on all of them so far this month. So I've had a different month than I had in March. So in March, all I did was work on the birdcage and used Bold Blooms as a daily 30 prompt, but I focused every day bar one day, or 2 days. I had one day I didn't stitch and I didn't use the birdcage on the last day of the month, but basically I worked on the birdcage all month. This month I'm almost back to normal, where I'm actually don't mind changing out, but I am struggling still a little bit with the changing out. So yeah, I'm keeping these out because I don't really want to put them away just yet. So we bought out Goat Load. Now, Goat Load is a whip go one and a whipopolis, but I'm sort of, because I haven't been on my blog for so long, I've sort of not fussed about the whipopolis at the moment. It's still in the Facebook group, but I'm just not posting on the blog for that. But it is a whip go goal of a finish. Now this isn't a hard design really. It's a pretty simple design and we all know what it looks like, but I will pull it out. I should have pulled out a paper first, out of the bag, but there we go. So this is Goat Load. So it's a Plum Street Samplers design. I started this back on the 25th of March 2019 and I started it for Emily C's birthday sale. It got a bit of love on and off, but it's back out now, and I will put in a before pic of what it looked like when I started stitching on it this month. Should I get that out? It's still in the Q-snap because I'm still stitching on it. Now I have used it, so as I mentioned it's a whip go goal, but it's not been drawn yet. I've used it for a couple of challenges. So far we have done 670 stitches. I'm stitching this on 36 count Edinburgh Picture This Plus Oaken, and I'm doing 1/1. Sorry, 1/2. 1/3/2. 1/1 or 36, I don't think so. And I have actually really been enjoying doing this. As you can see, I'm down in the grass now, so I'm going to work on that grass patch. I was actually just looking for bulk stitching as opposed to doing the flowers. So 670 stitches so far from the 7th to the 10th of April, so 4 stitching sessions. I've used it for 24 hours across stitch for another S for the acrostic, and I said a stack of goats because that's what it is, it's a stack of goats. I also used it for MS Monthly 3 of a Kind because there's 3 goats. You had to have something that had 3 of, and I had 3 goats. I used it for Enchanted Stitching Cars for week 1 for tongue-tied because goats have tongues. I'm now using it for the Enchanted Stitching Cars monthly project, the project you want to finish in a hurry. And I need 500 stitches for that, and I'm at 337. And I'm also, this week, when I pull it back out again in the next couple of days, going to use it for the daily 30 diamond week prompt for a chart that's about at least 75% complete, because I think that's pretty much 75% complete. I think I've just got to finish the bottom and then do those little flowers. So I'm saying it's close to 75% complete. So that works. So what did I say? Yes, 670 stitches so far. And the goal is to finish it. I don't think I'll finish it this month, but I'll be, at least it'll put me into a good position for when I'm ready to, when it gets drawn a whip go and I'm almost finished it, hopefully. Who knows? Yeah, I might finish it. Okay, we're romping through this. I might actually get this done before I have to go on my video call. Okay, so the next one I brought out was Father Frost by Joan Elliott. Now, when did I last stitch on this one? Can't remember. I should have noted when I stitched on it once, but everybody would have seen Father Frost. And have I got, oh, just moved my screen. So this is Father Frost. So he is a Joan Elliott, and it came from the Cross Stitch Gold magazine, issue number 97. I'm not sure she's done this as a chart pack. She may have done. I should check that one day and let you all know. But okay, so Father Frost. I started that last year for Joan Elliott July. So I started on the 1st of July in 2019. I did work on it December or January this year. I worked on it a couple of times. And I know that I have a little bit of a boo-boo somewhere up in this space here. I can't remember what, I think, because I was doing this during the Tour de France, and this is when I found the mistake. It's up here somewhere on one row too high or something. So I've decided not to work on that spot, and I came back down. And this time round, I'm using it for, so I have an April goal picture of what it looked like before. So I have an April goal on this of 1,000 stitches. The reason I've chosen 1,000 stitches is I'm using it for Sane Stitches Canada prompt. You have to work on a whip with a polar bear. Well, this has got a polar bear. I'm at 504 stitches at the moment, so that's all I've done so far. So I'm halfway through my goal for the month, so hence this will stay out, and it'll probably come out again, if not in the next couple of days, it'll be out on the weekend because I want to knock that goal off. I also had to use it because in Magical Stitches, the Villains Week 1, we had to list 5 whips. Now, me knew something was coming up with those, because as soon as they ask you to list your whips, it's pretty obvious they're going to make you pick one to work on. So what I did in this instance is I picked the first two ones that I specifically wanted to work on anyway, like the week just gone, and that was going to be Forever and Ever and Father Frost. So luckily I put those as 1 and 2 because the prompt was you had to work on the first 2 whips but swap them around. So whip number 2 became project number 1 for that week, and whip number 1 became project number 2. So i.e. I had to work on Father Frost first because I listed Father Frost as the second whip. I'm really pleased I did in a way, because it meant that this one had to come out and I had to focus on. So I did that. So while I had it out, I decided to use it for a couple of other prompts. So I've also used it for the daily 30 Easter week, and I had to use it for a whip to Something you could use to construct a nest. Well, I said that there's trees, and trees, twigs, birds use twigs to construct a nest. And I'm also now using it also for, I'll just stick this in the back, the Enchanted Stitching Cars monthly. I needed a whip with toys in it, and have to do 950 stitches for that. So I thought, well, this will work. So this is where I'm at now. Yeah, look, polar bear's got a face. Yes. So that is 504 stitches in his face. And I've just done a tiny bit on his wreath, but essentially I've done 504 stitches in the face. So I'm really pleased that all of this stuff here, well, so far, seemed to be in the right spot, because I actually had to stitch the white here to get this, and I remember doing this fur challenge. I think I had to have grey stitches for something, so I just went off and did that, thinking, oh my god, if it's wrong, yeah. But so far, I appear to be spot on, because I managed to get my face without having to dig anything out. So I'm really pleased about that. Now, you know how we sometimes talk about what we watched while we stitch these things? This one will forever be in my mind as the trial of Christine Keeler, because we watched all 6 episodes of Christine Keeler while I was doing this. What else can I say about my beautiful thing? Oh, it is stitched on 32 count opal Lagana, Silver Springs from Colour Cascade, and it's all DMC. And as I mentioned, it is a Joan Elliott. You can't see the shine. Oh, look, shine. Now, we do have, because there's a couple of pink dye spots there, but I'm not stressing over that, because you know what? I can always put a snowflake or something there if it happens that it's going to be in the way, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be okay. So that's it. So I will at some point come back and go back into his coat, but I'm focusing on the polar bear because I needed 1,000 stitches on a whip with a polar bear, so I thought I might as well work on my polar bear. I think that's all I can tell you about that. So yeah, so halfway through my Canada challenge on that, and oops, my screen's just decided it's going to disappear. Oh, there we go, we're back. The last whip I have to talk to you about is Forever and Ever Cottage Garden Samplings. So this was a Whip Go Draw whip this month for April. So awesome. The goal for it is a finish. That's okay. It's not going to get done. It might get finished sometime, but I can't see me finishing it in April. But this is Forever and Ever. Try and show you without glare. Maybe I'll put it right in front of my face. That works. This is a design that I fell in love with the minute I saw this. I think even when I saw sneak peeks, I fell in love with this. So, and I fell in love with it so much, I just signed up for the series regardless of Tammy. I just told Tammy to get it in and all the threads and yeah. So, what I did for this one is I put this down in my Semi-Sane Stitches Choose My Whip. So this became the Whip 2 choice, which was awesome. I was really pleased about that. Everybody picked that one for me. I'm also using it for my MS Villains Week 2 Project 2, as I mentioned, because I listed it as the first whip, which became the second project. But unfortunately, I didn't quite make my 500 stitches. I only got 326 because I left my run a bit too late. But that's okay. So I'm now using it for MS Villains Week 3. So we had to work on something that you were crazy about starting, and also I'm using it for 2 prompts. Something you were crazy about starting, well, I was absolutely crazy about starting this, and I was also crazy to start this, and something that calls to you but it's a struggle to work on. Well, this calls to me all the time. I think about this a lot, and I've seen a lot of people recently either finishing it or stitching on it, but I do find it a real struggle to stitch on because it's quite dense stitching. But you know what? It's beautiful, and I'm just going to keep doing it. I have used it for 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic, the ampersand, because in the title there is an ampersand. I was really worried about how I was going to do the ampersand this time around, but that works. I used it for cars in Enchanted Stitching for week 1. I had to do 250 stitches in green, so that worked. There's an awful lot of green. I used it for, what else am I using it for? I'm using it for the Daily 30 Diamond Week, a whip that made you cry when you first saw it and you still love. Well, pretty obvious, huh? And Easter Week, a whip that other people are also stitching. Well, that works there. So here is a before pic. And here is what she looks like now. So essentially I have filled in. So first I did 250 stitches in the green. I have also filled in all of the missing red that was in the chickadee. I've started that leaf, come across here, coming into here. So my goal is to finish the leaves before I put it away. So, and I want to, this is the chickadee, the new other chickadee's feet are there. So I want to get to a point where I can either start on my chickadee or I just will finish all of the greenery. We'll just see how we go. I've currently done 806 stitches on this in 3 days. So the 12th to the 14th of April. It's funny because once you start stitching on, it's actually quite easy to stitch on. I'm doing this also on a 36 count Edinburgh, and this is Pitch This plus Feldspar. I'm also doing it 1/2 on this, and it's all with the week style works, the colour, the recommended threads. So I'm actually really pleased with the way this is turning out. I don't know if I chose essentially the right fabric in colour wise, because there's a bit of a browny look about it, but I think it'll look nice at the end of the day. And I've still got half of this fabric, which I'll use for one of the other ones as well, so I can just tie 2 of them in together. But I'm really pleased with that. It's coming along. It's coming along. So, I think that was all I had to tell you about that. Yes. So that will stay out. I put that one and Father Frost up for my semi-sane stitches, choose my whip for week 3. And at the moment, I think Father Frost is in the front, but it's... No, I didn't. I put Goat Load up, sorry. I put Goat Load up. So I think Father Frost is... I think it's like 1 or 2 votes between them, and today is the last day, well, yesterday, today in the US sort of thing. So today, the 15th, marks the first day of the new week for the Choose My Whip. So I will go in tonight before I start stitching and see which one won. So it'll either be Father Frost or Goat Load, but there's like 1 or 2 votes, so I might have to have a tiebreaker on that. So that's it. That's all my whips. Yep. Okay. I've got 10 more minutes. So I'll quickly wrap this bit up and then I'll record the next bit afterwards. So far in April, I have stitched 3,225 stitches. And so far for 2020, I have managed to do 19,342 stitches. So not bad. 3 starts. So still tracking. And 5 finishes, so that's really good because I'm still doing more finishes and starts, so I'm quite pleased about that. So as far as the groups that I'm in, Daily 30, nothing more done on Scavenger Hunt. I need to pull out Forest Snowfall and start working on that. I haven't actually attempted to do the April monthly challenge yet with the puddles. The only whip off the top of my head that has water in it is my Beach Cottage Sampler, so anyhow I go with these couple of things, I might bring it out because I should really have it out every Sunday anyway for the Little House Needleworks was it Sunday sampler sale, so I really should have it out, but I haven't. What other wee things we've got? So the weekly challenges at the moment, we've got Easter week happening, which ends on Friday, so I've completed 2 prompts and I'm almost finished a 3rd. Then, oh yes, there is a prompt in that I'm not going to complete because it talks about working on the whip you worked on the most last month, which is the birdcage for me, and I'm not bringing that out again. Diamond Week ends on the 24th, so that's the new one. I've so far done 1 prompt, and I'm about to finish the Daily 30 prompt, and then there'll be a couple of other prompts that I think I can work in with these current whips. So that's all cool. Magical Stitches. So the weekly tasks, I've managed to do 2 or 3 each time. Obviously last week was just 2, working on those 2 whips, and I did 1 completed and 1 partial. And now we're working on week number 3, and yeah, I'll be using those whips somehow to fit in with those. The monthly task, I'm probably going to pick up kitty litter for one of the monthly ones, which is choosing a side, and I think I'm thinking the beast, and I can say that it's a beast working on it because of the fabric and pulling 5 threads through. Enchanted stitching, as I mentioned, it's Cars. So we're talking about the movie Cars. We're on week 2, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I've got to somehow work in my whips for those. And the monthly tasks, I'm working on Goat Load and Father Frost. So I needed 500 for Goat Load and 950 for Father Frost. So we're tracking on those. Mythological Stitches. Okay, so the girls who do the admin for Mythological Stitches have basically said no monthly, weekly tasks for April. They're homeschooling their kids, and it's just, yeah, life's just got a bit too busy for them, which is fine, because there is the Epic Challenge, which I wasn't even going to bother to touch, but now I'm thinking I might look at that and see if anything that I'm doing this month can fit into that. So we'll have a look at that, but I hadn't got my head around that one yet. Hello, I'm back. So here's the thing. I had just about finished a video, and I would done run through of all my groups. I was onto plans. It's time to stop because I had to go and do my call, so that was fine. And I just did a playback on my video to work out, you know, get back into the feel of where I'd got to. Only to hear that all the way through Sane Stitches, I could hear my husband on a phone call, even though I had the door closed. The lady that he was talking to, it was actually, it's one of those things where it's loud enough that you can hear it in the background. So I thought, I don't really think I should have that on a video. Not that you wouldn't have been able to hear what they were talking about. I just feel self-conscious that it's at the back of my soundtrack. So guess what? I'm going to have to do a really careful cut and paste on this because I was flowing really well. But I'm going to stop it as I start to talk about semi-sane stitches. So let me get myself organised so I can read my things. Oops, bumped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can somehow slide it in. So it might look a bit weird, but we'll start at semi-sane and then we'll go from there. So here we go. So semi-sane stitches. I was talking about the fact that I'm doing this and that, and I'm doing solids rather than speciality, and I've chosen solids, kitty litter for solids, because it's block stitching, it's in DMC, well, dimensions, whatever, but it's in, basically it's a block, blocks of colour. The Around the World is Canada for this month, and I'm doing the 5,000 stitches. And just let me get rid of this. A friend of mine and I are talking about the new Mirabilia that's just come out. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. And because it's so gorgeous, I'm going to put a picture up because I love it. I absolutely love it. So Kim and I are doing messenger chats at the moment to talk about how beautiful it is and kitting it up and the fabric. So I'm probably going on in a minute to Facebook and ordering it through Tammy with the fabric and the embellishments and probably the DMC so I can start it. Oh, I told you, stitch from stash. Yeah, well, we'll see. But anyway, I'm getting it. It's gorgeous. She's huge, but she's gorgeous. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So yes, so Canada, obviously the 5,000 on anything, I'm at 2,721 stitches against that at the moment, so just over halfway there, halfway through the month, good. And I'm doing Father Frost for the polar bear prompt within Canada, and I've done, as I said, 504 stitches on Father Frost. So again, halfway there through that prompt. Don't think I'll do any more prompts on that, but we'll see. You never know, might find something else. Frogs and Stitches, which is a semi-sane version of Snakes and Ladders. So I've almost done a circle of the board, and if I was remembering to stop stitching and do the next spin, I'd probably have done the circle of the board by now, but I keep forgetting to stop at say 100 or 300 or whatever the stitches required after each board move, and I keep stitching, and then it means that, yeah, I've done way too many, but that's okay, it's just a bit of fun. Stitch or No Stitch, which is Semi-Sane's version of Deal or No Deal. I haven't done a deal yet, I'm still going on that one. I haven't lost my main prize yet, which is 25 entries into the grand prize draw. That hasn't come out of my case yet, but I've had the big stitches come out. So I'm pleased on one level that they're not going to be stuck at the end. But it does mean that I'm slow doing the draws, because like 1700 and 1200 stitches takes a bit to do. I haven't done anything in for the spring into Easter, which is a non-counting one yet, but who knows, I might find something. Choose my whip. So week 1 was kitty litter, done. Week 2 was forever and ever, done. Week 3 looks like, I just checked before I came on, goat load at the moment appears to be winning, but it's still neck and neck, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Literary Journey. Okay, so Literary Journey, I finished The Swap. So that was a book I read earlier this year, and it had, I can't remember how many pages now, but anyway, it equated to 8,550 stitches. I completed 8,700 stitches on that on the 13th of April and moved on to book 3. So book 3 is Beautiful Death by Fiona McIntosh. I read that a couple of months ago. It's actually quite good. I actually quite enjoyed that. So it's a second book of a series about a policeman. It's very reminiscent of Inspector Lynley in a sense. So if you like Inspector Lynley, you'd like it. It's softer. It's not probably as believable as it could be, but you know, it's okay. It's a good read. So that book has 417 pages in, so 25 stitches per page. That gives me 10,425 stitches I need to do for that. I started stitching towards that on the 13th of April. Stitching the landmarks. So I have completed a Mont Saint-Michel, and that had 3,150 stitches to complete that, and I did 3,191, so done. I completed that landmark on the 11th of April, and I've now started Mount Rushmore, which is 5,110 stitches, and I'm currently at 1,051 stitches against that, and I started that one on the 12th of April. Alphabet soup. So G was goat load, which is why I had goat load out in the first place. H, so H is the current one, and that finishes next Tuesday, I think, and I think the new one starts on Wednesday. So H, I'm not sure what I'm going to work on that for H, but I'm thinking I've got Hollywood Art, which is an Ursula Michael one over there. I might pull that out, so it's more of a Christmas design, but it is in the back stitch, so it's one of the word ones that she does. So I might pull that out for H and maybe work on that for a couple of hundred stitches or something. We'll see. See if I can make it work into another prompt. It'll be awesome. And then I, which will be the next one, don't know yet. Still thinking. I've done nothing more on Cinderella, so that's going to be an epic fail this year. And I haven't picked up Beach Cottage Sampler for ages for the pick it and stick it to it, but epic fail again. What else? Okay, Ultimate Cross Stitch Group. So this month for the Ultimate Cross Stitch Group, we're playing Hop Stitch. Think hopscotch. I used to play that a lot when I was a kid. Now we're doing hop stitch. So every 2 days they release a stitch count that you need to stitch towards. I seem to have lost the light all of a sudden. As I said before, it's been a bit cloudy, so it seems to be a bit dark, so hopefully it'll be okay when I replay this back. So yeah, Ultimate Cross Stitch. Every 2 days they're releasing a stitch count to work towards. At the moment, I'm just about to finish the 800 stitches, which were for the 9th and 10th of April. And the other two that are currently the next ones, so 11 and 12th of April is 400, and 13 and 14 is 675. So tonight, they'll release another one. But the good thing is you do get a couple of days at the end of the month to play catch up, so hopefully that'll be okay. Stitchy Quest for the One Ring. I haven't done any of the challenges again this month. Whip Go. Okay, so Whip Go. As we've mentioned previously, Whip Go draw for April was Forever and Ever, and a new start. So I have done Forever and Ever, and I've worked on that. Obviously the goal is a finish, so I don't think I'll get that finished obviously this month, but at least it's a good way to get through. And the new start goal is a 5 days stitching. At the moment I haven't found a new start, so I might sort of blow that one off for the time being and use that in when I do Stitch Mania. We'll see what happens. Plans. Okay, so I will continue working on Goat Load to finish off those couple of prompts that I need to finish. Same as Forever and Ever and Father Frost. And my main plan is to finish Spring Tulips. So I'll get that done. I also, given that we're now halfway through April, I need to make a decision on Stitch Mania. So Stitch Mania. Yeah, okay. So what am I going to do this year? I have thought about being monogamous, because I actually did enjoy March being monogamous, so I have thought about that. I thought I could do a Mirror May, so that's an option. Then I thought I've got a stack of things I could start, so that's an option. So I'm sort of at the moment thinking what I might do is 20 starts. 20 starts is going to get my whip count way out of control, but you know, do I care about that? No. 20 starts would be 20 for 2020. Basically that's it, 20 for 2020. But I am thinking there's two things I could do. I could either do 20 starts in the first 20 days of May, I should say, or I could do 20 starts on the weekdays. So if I did 20 starts just on weekdays, that would be 5 days, Monday to Friday, in the 4 weeks, which would give me my 20 starts. It would also mean, my thinking is I would only do 30 minutes or thereabouts on each start. So that would actually be then my daily 30 for the 5 days a week for the 4 weeks. So I'm knocking off then daily 30, but it also means that at night time, when I'm doing my normal stitching, I'm focusing on something else. So I can still have a focus whip, and the weekends I'd still have my focus whip, or I can go back to one of those starts if I felt the need to. And that way, maybe it will work. And I am thinking Shepherd's Bush and Christmas ornaments, or Be Well and Stitch freebies. So there's still the idea. Okay, so I've still got some time to think about that, but I do need to start kitting up. If I'm doing ornies, I need to start pulling things around and making sure I've at least got enough threads to start, because I don't particularly want to do a huge big thread order, but if need be I will, but we'll see what happens. So if I do that and I do 20 starts, I am also thinking what I could do is each day just do a block of, I don't know, 5-minute videos and then put them together, and at the end of the week I can upload them. So I'd do like a vlog for the week for the start, so I can show the start, show what I did, you know, the next day show you what I did, and then show you what my next start's going to be. So that's another thought. But who knows, because you never know what I'm going to do. Just because I have plans doesn't mean I'm actually going to do them. But we'll work it out. We'll work it out. So that's pretty much it for stitching. I haven't got any haul other than the fabric of the month, which I'll show you on the next video. I did start something. So while I didn't have a cross stitch start, I did start my diamond painting. But what I will do is, it's a bit too cumbersome to have holding up. I'm going to go and record a separate little video, which I'll insert somewhere in this space so that you can see my diamond painting. I've really enjoyed doing it. It's actually been really quite therapeutic, and I spent quite a bit of time on Sunday morning doing it. So I started it on the 5th of April, and every night I've sort of done like half an hour or something before tea. But Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, I spent quite a lot of time on it, and yeah, really enjoyed it. It's a bit like, in a sense, doing a jigsaw, you know. You're thinking about it, but you're not thinking about it. So it was really good. I'm really enjoying that. There was something in the back of, oh, books. Okay, so very quickly, which I have to do, I mustn't forget to do. Somebody, one of our friends, tagged hubby in a post yesterday, and there's been numerous things going around Facebook right at the moment, and I tend not to join any of those sorts of things, but this one I am doing. So this one, because somebody tagged hubby and then he tagged me, and yeah. So this one is actually quite a good one. So this one essentially is for 10 days sharing a book and tagging someone. I'm not tagging anybody. I'm going to share a book, but I'm not tagging anyone. So I thought what I'll do is I would actually let you know what books I share. So because I haven't thought of what I'm doing for today's, I've sort of got an idea. So if I think about it, before I upload this video, I will not only share yesterday's book in the corner, but I'll share today's book in the corner. So yesterday's book was The Dry by Jane Harper, who's an Aussie author, which is absolutely brilliant. And today's book, I think I'm going to go back into my childhood, well, early teenagehood, and go Georgetta Higher. I'm thinking of that. So see whether, you see it in the corner, whether I did do these old shades. Because that's what I'm thinking of. I think mine's actually got 2 or 3 books in, but I'll pick up, I think I'm going to do this. It's either going to be Jane Austen or it's going to be Georgetta Higher. So we'll see. I think that's about it. I think I have just about done everything. So I will try somehow and piece this together, take out the bit that was at the end of the original bit, piece them together, work it out, stitch it all up, pop in a pretty picture or 2, and guess what? You might have a video to watch in the next 24 hours. But for now, I will basically say goodbye. Thank you for tuning in and sticking with me to the end. I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the whips that I've been working on and listening to my rambling. I will be probably back in a couple of weeks, because I will try and do a wrap up of April and then tell you exactly what I've planned for Mania, and then we'll go ahead from there. So yeah, I think that's about it. So this is me signing off, and thanks for watching. Thank you for coming along and spending some time with me. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. Thank you. Catch you later. See ya. Bye.